And hello, welcome to this video. So in this video we want to start talking about how to solve this solve this bug. What is the bug I'm talking about? The bug I'm talking about is okay, I'm in the MariaDB. Okay, .NET Watch. Let's do a .NET Watch. The bug is that we have this primary key duplicate thing happening. Okay, so for example, when I add this component and then I add the component, it complains about a duplicate key entry 1 for primary. What does it mean? Okay, it means that we already have this how do you say? Yeah, we already have this ID. Okay, this component ID is already 1. All right, so the moment we add another component, that component ID is also 1. Why was this so? Okay, if you see what we have before in our onPost add component, you can see that this when we added a component, if our model state is valid, of course, that's the server-side validation. If our component is added, the new component ID will just automatically be 1. Okay, the new component ID will automatically be 1. So that is not something that we want, because if we add a component ID with 1 inside to our component into our database list, it will have this duplicate primary key error. Okay, so we will want to delete this and let the database itself assign an ID. Okay, so I'm going to delete this and I'm going to try a reload. Okay, so let it reload. Let me clear all. Okay, let me resend. Okay, so we can add a component here. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 add. So you see, what if we do not assign an ID to our component, the database will sort of take care of the ID, assigning the ID itself. Okay, we can also type assign populate, but then you'll see if we try to use the populate entry, there will be a duplicate entry 1 for primary, so we cannot assign the primary thing. We cannot assign the ID anymore for our populate methods. So let's take a look. We'll have to do some debugging, unfortunately. So this is only part 1 of the debugging. You'll need to do a lot of debugging whenever we assign IDs. Okay, do not assign the primary key values, and let the database do it for us. Let MariaDB do it for us. Okay, so let's go to component list.cs. Okay, why is there an ID assigned? Because the moment we use this get pipe 1, okay, an ID of number 1 will be assigned automatically. Okay, so that is not good. Okay, so the idea is, instead of okay, let's open nerd3 on the left hand side. Nerd3. Okay, I want to open the MariaDB.cs, so that every time we have this get pipe 1, get pump 1, get heat exchanger 1, we want to set that ID to null or something. So let's look for populate. Okay, so it says right here, var pipe 1 equals this component collection get pipe 1. So this pipe 1's ID, I do not want to set it. I want to set it to a null value. Pipe1.id equals to null. Pump1.id equals to null. Heat exchanger 1.id equals to null. Okay, that should about do it. Oh, we cannot convert it because it's a non-nullable value type. Okay, so it means that we cannot set the integer to null. Okay, we'll probably have to set it to something else like 0 or -1 maybe. Okay, so we will have to sort of do something about this, right? Okay, so probably the null way doesn't work. Okay, let me delete this off, and then I'll just do the easier way, right? I'll just say every time we have the pump 1, pipe 1 and heat exchanger, I will just delete the ID assigning over here. So don't assign IDs at all. Alright, do not assign IDs at all here. Okay, do not assign IDs at all. Okay, let me clear all. Okay, the clear all is also quite buggy, so let's delete component. We'll clear the component later. Okay, we'll delete component number 1. Let's see whether it works. Okay, delete component number 2. Yeah, it should work. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, my clear all thing is a bit buggy. Anyway, so let's click the populate, and you can see the MyPump MyHit exchanger, all the IDs are automatically assigned now. Okay, the database will do it. Okay, adding component also now kind of works, so that's part of the debug process. Of course, for our in-memory database, we will want to find a way of auto assigning those numbers as well, but so for now, just okay, I don't really care too much about that. No, of course, okay, component in the component repo ram.cs. Okay, every time we do a create component, okay, we can do it like so. Yeah, every time we create a component here, we can just so-called add an ID. Okay, add an ID. This dot component dot ID. Oops, pardon. Component.id equals 1. Equals to 1. So you do all your assigning of the ID here inside the component repo ram, so that it doesn't interfere with the code over the other side. Okay. So we also have a populate list right here. Populate list method inside our component repo ram. Okay. So this what will happen. Where is our populate list? Yeah, it's a populate list. Okay, so populate list is under component collection. Okay, let's open up component collection. Okay. All right. So when I activated populate list right here, it added the pipe 1, pump 1, and heat exchanger 1 to the existing list over here. Okay. So all the addition is done on this populate listing here. So since we don't assign IDs over here, the get pipe 1, get pump 1, and get heat exchanger 1, we should, by right, we should have our IDs added here, okay, for the populated list thingy. All right, so I probably don't want to deal with this right now. I think this can be done another time. The RAM, the whole idea of having a component repo in a RAM repository is just to demonstrate that we can store data using RAM. I'm not going to focus here how to set the IDs right in such a way that it doesn't interfere with our database and everything. Okay, so I'll just stop for now for editing the RAM part. I'll just keep thinking, okay, how can we okay, our clear all and add component actually works. We can also update component. Let's say update component 8, I can do hello and hello. Component name, component type are both called hello. So you take a look at number 8. Okay, it will change the values accordingly. I can change the number to 10. Update the component. See, this is also updated accordingly. Now, okay, another problem, if I put the ID to be number 7 and I update component, it will throw an error. It says database operation was expected to affect 1 row, but actually affected 0 rows. So what's actually going on here? Okay, when I try to update component number 7, okay, component number 7 doesn't even exist, right? Component number 7 doesn't exist. So we will need to find a way to stop it from updating the database. Okay, we will need to find a way to stop it from updating the database if this happens. Okay, so let's go to the update database thing. Yeah. So let's go to update database, and we'll find a way to stop this. Okay, so how do we stop this update component thing? Okay, we'll put an if loop here. We'll put an if loop here. Okay, so we'll need to do an expression within this if loop. Okay, so normally if we put the number 7 over here in the ID, okay, and we try to retrieve this object from the database, it will return a null value. Okay, that means the object doesn't even exist. So we can do this test. Okay, I can get the component here. I can run a get component on this ID. So okay, var component equals to this dot get component by the ID. Okay, if this component is a null value, if component is equals to or not equals to null, then oh, what is this? This is the RAM repository. Oops, I do not want to edit this here. Quit or BD to close this. Okay, I want to open the MariaDB repository. Okay, so this is the simple MariaDB repository. Now go to update component, right? Update component. Okay, so I'll do the same thing here. I'll do an if loop, and I'll do this here. Var component equals to okay, component to edit equals to this dot get component by the ID. Okay, if this component edit is not equals to null, component to edit not equals, so exclamation mark equals to null, then we run the code. Okay, so I'm going to of course indent this nicely by selecting it using visual line. Press the equal sign, it will indent like so. Okay, so this should make it work now. So if I put number 7 and an update component, okay, nothing will happen because I do not want anything to happen. Okay, I do not want anything to happen. Alright, so that's how I want this update component to work. Okay, I just wanted to update, not necessarily to create a new one. That was a lazy way of doing it, but yeah, this fixes the update component bit. Okay, so I fixed the update component bug, and it's displaying nicely, of course, all the data, but my clear all thing is not really working properly. So it says this, my SQL connection is already in use. So let's see what's going on here. Okay, I've not gotten this thing just yet. Clear all component. Okay, so it says for each var component in this DB context collection, then we run this dot delete component. Why is this happening? Okay, let's see. Connection is already in use. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I suspect something is going on here. It talks about connection reuse. It says MySQL object may only be used once for one operation at a time. You cannot keep using it for other things. So I'm guessing it's because I use this keyword here because I'm referring to one instance of this DB context object. Maybe if I remove this delete component and I remove this keyword from here, it might work. because well, I don't really know how the code works, but yeah, I suspect that's what's happening. Let's try the clear all handler again. Okay, it's still giving us the problem. Let me undo. Okay, so okay, honestly, I have not run into this bug before. It just came to me like this on this computer, but there is one workaround. I won't say this is a good way to debug. Okay, if I want to clear all components, the easy way to do it is to just drop the entire database and create it again. So this is what we can probably do. This dot create database. Okay, we do this after this dot drop database. Okay, it should get it to work fine. Should get it to work fine because we do not use the for loop. Oh, delete database. Okay, delete database. Drop is a very MySQL way of saying it. Delete database. Okay, so we want to delete the database. Okay, we clear all and it's fine. We can populate, clear all. It will clear everything because it drops the entire table. It deletes the entire table and it recreates it. Okay, and then we can add components. Okay, things will work okay here. It is not the best way of doing it, but it works. Okay, let me add the components. You can see components are added nicely here. We can delete it. Okay, if there's nothing to delete, it will not delete anything. Yeah, if you look at component 30, you try to delete component 30, nothing will happen. Try to update component 30, nothing will happen. Try to clear all, it will clear all. Try to populate with random stuff, it will populate with random stuff. Add components, it works nicely. And well, yeah, so for some reason the for loop thing here doesn't really work the way I expected it. There is some connection reuse error, but this clear all components, this method of clearing all components definitely seems to work. Okay, if you really want to do that. Okay, so yeah, this one really drops and creates. It's the easiest way of doing it. You don't need to use a for loop. Okay, but if you are using migrations, this may not be the best way of doing it. But migrations are for if you don't want to clear everything out. You know, if you clear everything out, you don't really care about the data there. That's fine. Okay. So yeah. All right. So that's all. That's all for now. I may or may not be able to solve this bug within the next few videos, but I hope this gives you an idea of how to work at least at a basic level with entity framework called in MariaDB. I'll stop for now, and thanks for watching. Hey, see you.